In this video, we're going to talk about how to set up multi-factor authentication for remote users on a FortiGate. So just a quick intro, hardware FortiGates come with two FortiTokens by default. You don't need a license for this. You don't need to pay extra for this. This is just default out of the box. It comes with two of them for you to use. So you can use these for admin logins directly to the firewall, or you can use them for remote users. So if you have local users defined or an LDAP user, or radius user, you can use these FortiTokens on those users as well for VPN access, whether that's SSL or IPsec. SMS MFA is also available, but that's going to require you to have a third-party SMS provider, so that won't be included in this video, but it is an option. We can also use a custom email server on the FortiGate if you had your own and wanted to use it, but by default the Fortinet one will work, so that's what we will be using here. And just the last point is just these MFA is extremely important, and the firewalls by default come with two, so it gives you some sort of protection. So we don't have to buy any extra. We don't have to have FortiAuthenticator. Of course, if we have to scale this to more users, we will get something like that, but just out of the box, we have two tokens to use, so we might as well use them. And then just quick going over the lab scenario we have here just so you can follow along. This is going to be on a FortiGate 90G running FortiOS 7.4.9. My FortiClient is 7.4.0. We're going to be using the default mail server that comes with the firewall, and I'll show you that in a bit. And for this setup, this is going to be a local user defined on the FortiGate, and we're going to be using this to apply MFA to that user for the purposes of IPsec dial-up, so remote access into the network. So now we're on the firewall itself. Real quick, I'll just show you. So like I said earlier, we have this test or this demo IPsec VPN tunnel. So this is what I'm going to be connecting to, and we'll use MFA for that user login. And this is going to be using a local user. So here I have a local user defined. And real quick, I just want to show you, if you wanted to use a custom email server, you can. So that's under config system email server. So this is the default setting. It's going to use the Fortinet SMTP server, and this works, but obviously if you want to set like a custom reply email or have more control over the mail function and you had your own SMTP server, you could enter those details here. I will not be doing that. I will just be using this. So if you have a custom email server, or your own email server rather, you can set that up here, but if you don't, this will work perfectly fine. So we'll be using that here. And there's a couple other settings I want to just set before we actually get configuring, because this might cause you issues. We want to extend the timeout values for MFA and for the email sending, because you don't want to run into a situation where you are waiting for the token and it might take a little bit of time, and then by the time you get it, your session time's out and you're not going to be able to sign in. So we can set these to the max values. By default, the values are set very low. So we'll go to config system global, and first we'll set the two-factor email expiry value to 300, so that's 300 seconds. And we'll set the remote auth timeout value also to 300. So this will put you in a good position so you don't run into issues where users are timing out before they can actually receive and enter their token. Okay, so the first method we're going to do is email MFA. So this will allow you to set up email multi-factor. So when you type in your username and password, you will get sent in an email an activation code, and you type in that code, and then that will complete your authentication. So no mobile app required, nothing like that. So just as long as the email comes through and you get the code, you can sign in. So we'll set that up here. So what we're going to do is go to config user local, and you can see this is our user right here, srnetsec. So we'll edit this user, and we're going to say set email to, and here we're going to set the email that we want the firewall to send the code to. So for my purposes, this will be the email. And then we're going to set the two-factor type to email. Like that. and then we'll hit N to apply. So now if we do a show user local, so netsec, we can see that the two-factor authentication method is set to email, and the email that is assigned is my email here. So if we go to our GUI and our user definition, we see that two-factor authentication is enabled for this user, and it shows the email. So now what we'll do is we will attempt to connect to the VPN, and we should get a prompt for a token. So we'll type in our password, and you see we get a prompt here for a token, and you can see the timeout value starting. So this is how much time you have before the session times out. So we'll go to our email inbox, and you see we get this email with our authentication token. So we will enter that, and you can see now we are connected. So just to test it, I can connect to the management interface on the other side of that VPN, which is this, and here we go. So now we can sign in, and we can see that my user here is connected. I want to quickly just talk about a common troubleshooting scenario you might run into when using email-based MFA for VPN connections. So what you might find is that when you enter your username and password to sign into the FortiClient, your computer temporarily loses network access until the VPN connection is complete. Now, this is a problem because if you're expecting to get that email code on the PC that you're connecting to VPN on, if it is having trouble getting internet access, you're never going to get that code. So if you also get email on your phone or something, that's fine, but we don't want to have to rely on that. So I found a way to fix that so that your computer doesn't lose internet access when you're connecting to the VPN while you're waiting for the MFA code to actually arrive to you, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your command line in admin rights. So this is the path that you have to go to: program files, Fortinet, FortiClient. This is where the FortiClient files live. So what we have to do is export the configuration of the FortiClient, and I will put the command on screen and I will talk about what it does. So this is the command. So we're going to basically export our settings, and for this use case, this -p flag 111111, that's going to be our password, right? Because when we go to restore the configuration within our FortiClient, it's going to ask for a password. So let me just disconnect here so we can actually do this. Okay, so we're going to enter this command. Right, and we'll see all this output. So what we're going to do then is in that same path here, it's going to create that settings.xml file. So open that in a notepad. And let me bring that over to our screen here. So this is what it looks like in XML. So what you're going to do is find your connection. So you can just search by name. So this was the name of my connection. We're going to scroll down till you see this part here where it says remote networks. Now I already made the change. So on your screen, this for you is probably showing as zeros. So 0.0.0 as your address and 0.0.0.0 as your subnet mask. You have to set this to something. So this can be set to really anything. So I just set it as 1.1.1.1/32. So feel free to set it the same. So once you do that, you're going to just save this file. And then you're going to open up your FortiClient. You're going to unlock it. Right, so now we're in the admin mode. We're going to restore our file, and we're going to change this to all files. and then we're going to find our settings.xml, and you're going to open this and restore your connection. I already did it, so I'm not going to do it again. But what you'll do is just hit this, hit open, and it will restore the file, and then that should work. So now that should allow your users to keep their internet access open while they wait for the token to hit their inbox. Okay, now that we show how you set up the email multi-factor authentication, we'll do FortiToken mobile authentication. So what we're going to do is go to our user definition. We're going to find our user. You see I removed multi-factor, so it's now disabled. We'll open this up. We'll turn on multi-factor authentication. You see we have two types. FortiToken Cloud, we don't have that, but we have the FortiTokens. That's the FortiTokens that actually live on this device. So we'll click that, and then we see from our drop down, these are our available tokens. So these two are for us to use. So we'll select this one here, and we see it has the email because we set it before in the CLI under my user. If you did not set that yet, all you would do right here is just type in the email of the user that this token is going to belong to. So we're going to hit OK. You see here it says an email with the activation code is going to be sent to this email. So we'll hit OK. We'll hop over to our mailbox. And you see we get an email that has the code to set up our token, or it has this QR code. So this is easier. This will be easier for your users. So if we just download this, and we bring this over, we have this. So what we'll do is you have to download the app on your phone. It looks like this. So just download this on your phone, and then it works like any other authenticator app, right? You'll scan the QR code, and then you'll have the entry in there. So what we'll do is on my phone, we will scan this barcode, and now I have that on my phone. So now we'll hop back over to the firewall again, and then we will open our FortiClient. We'll type in our password, and we see we get the pop-up for the token. So we'll enter the token code that is on our mobile app, and we're connected. And just to prove it, we'll connect to that IP again, and there we are. If we go to our tunnels, you see we have our one dial-up connection. So that's how you set up MFA for users using email and FortiToken mobile. Thanks for watching.